welcome to the channel. And if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate your support. I'm very humbled by it. So, who in their right mind would go visit Rebecca Haro, right? Why would you take the time out of your life to go visit a woman that is accused of murdering her child and abusing her child, right? I understand it, but I don't want to be around it. I don't want to be in the vicinity of it, in the circumference of it, in the area of it. I don't want to be around that ugly bad shit, right? That's just me. But I understand why some people do, and it's for content purposes. And what better to get the answers to the questions you have in your mind than to actually literally go do all the visiting things that you have to do, the forms, the going through the metal detectors, the searching, the seizures and all that, and sit down with one of the biggest monsters of 2025. And I mean biggest, right? Why would you do that? A lot of people have unanswered questions. Keeping the truth alive in cases like Baby Emmanuel is only possible if you stand with us. Subscribe now so his voice is never silenced. We all do. But I'm going to go ahead and let the investigation play out and the chips will fall where they lay, right? But there was a story told the other day. I came across it and I wanted to kind of put it out there because it gave me a keen awareness of the thinking going through Rebecca. Look, when you're a criminal your whole life, when you do criminality, criminal things, gang banging, breaking and entering, stealing cars, shootings, murders, whatever it is you're into or that you're doing, there's a moral code, right? The moral code is you shouldn't be doing that shit, all right? But the street code is when you do, you keep your muzzle on lock. You don't tell. Telling is a no-no, right? Keep your shit to yourself. You handle your business. And even street guys have codes within themselves. You don't do no cowardice acts, right? I remember back in our days, man, if we seen the opposition, a gang member that we did not like and we wanted to get was on site, even at some points, if they were with their children, their wives, their mothers, their loved ones. Hey, catch you on the rebound like a Brentwood song. We'll catch you next time, right? That was our morals within the gang life. That was the reglas and the rules that we set upon ourselves. Hey, there's a time and a place for everything, okay? So also with saying that there's a thing that, never saying anything, sticking to what you said in the beginning, not putting your business out there. That also is a street code that is a number, one rule, and it's abided by pretty much in the community. Unless you start telling, then that goes out the window, right? And you'll notice a lot of people that do start telling, it's because they don't want to do the time or they get spooked or they get tricked into it or whatever excuses they have. At the end of the day, if you're a gangster, if you're living that street life, if you're a criminal, there's no excuse. You already know what you signed up for, right? With Rebecca, I see her sticking to the code, which only leads me to believe she has some of that street pedigree in her background. Her muzzle's unlocked. She continues the narrative that she did not hurt her son and that this baby, her son, is still out there somewhere and we need to help find him. Even though in the meantime, in between time, she's not crying. She doesn't look too worried. She looks vibrant. Let me explain to you. There was a female that pops up on my TikTok. And I like to keep abreasted of everything that's going on concerning Baby Emmanuel's case because the only way to keep his name alive is to understand that all information is good information. Never throw anything out because you never know when you could find a jewel in the Nile, right? You could find something that's going to help this case or help shed some light. This female, she has a good channel. I watch her and she literally took the time of her day to go get some of those questions she has answered. She went to go visit Rebecca Haro. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is how it went. I wanted to put this out there because there's a lot of telltale signs into Rebecca's demeanor to basically proving her guilt and how such a dirty person she is when it comes to a child that is missing and not showing no emotion. What could only lead you to believe, and you would think someone would show emotion regardless, even if they're not guilty, they're locked up, incarcerated, right? Never been there too many times before. That's a sad situation. I know when I was locked up for a situation that I didn't do, for a crime I didn't do. Sad that if I said, Mom, I was on that phone like, shoot me $10, right? For canteen, let me eat my emotion away, right? Let me eat my grief. away even myself, a hardened, stone cold criminal that had literally been locked up on a murder case and all kinds of different things because I was innocent. I was sad. Sad at the situation, right? I couldn't even breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I couldn't breathe because I knew they was out there having it their way like some Burger Kings, right? And meanwhile, I was sitting down there eating an apple in the county jail with a little peanut butter on it. If those that know, right? Little protein. This chick goes to visit Rebecca last week. And it's crazy because in different county jails, they do it differently. Some you have to actually put people on your visiting list so that they can come visit you. Some places, obviously San Bernardino County or wherever she's locked up, Rebecca's locked up at this time. Riverside, I believe it's either Riverside or San Bernardino County, slips my mind, but it's one of those two. She is incarcerated there in the women's facility in the downtown county jail. And I guess there you don't need to put specific people on your visiting list. I know in prison people had to fill out this visiting list. They had to run a background check on them. If they've ever been convicted of a felony, they got to get a hardship. All kinds of different things. There's people that were locked up that were my homies that wanted to come visit me because they had a past criminal record or they were locked up in a facility. They didn't get action. They shut him down. Nah, you can't visit this guy because they understood that those type of people will probably, bring in drugs to distribute things like that. Or they assume. And so in this county jail, you do not need any of that. Anybody can pull you up, can pull up and pull you out of your cell. It's amazing, right? That they still have these types of facilities doing these types of things, because you think about it, man. You could have a victim's family member, say you do a shooting or whatever you do, you kill someone there. So you're going to tell me that their family members or their friends or your opposition can come and pull you out. They might not be able to get to you because it's behind glass. But what if it wasn't behind glass? Most county jails visitings are behind glass. You don't really get contact visits till you go to prison. And I know most county jails now have even moved on to seeing it like FaceTime on a computer screen, just how it is. But there are still some old school backwoods ass county jails like this one where you can actually go see the person. Now, albeit it's behind glass still, you can just pull someone out and disrespect them and spit on the window and do all that. That could make for a whole long line of people that don't like you talking to you, could kind of hurt your feelings. In this case, let's all sign up, right? Come on, let's all go see Rebecca and hurt her feelings, just like her baby mine was, right? Now, according to this chick, she pulled up, and her description of the county jail was simply this. She had to go check in. She went up, I think it's to the 5th or 6th floor. I'm not sure. And as she went up in the elevator, she came into an area where there was 3 seats, and they were so basically 3 spots to sit in behind glass. She sat in the middle seat. She said she sat in the middle seat because that's where you're able to see the elevator where they bring the inmates up, and she had signed up to see Rebecca. In her mind, she had some questions to ask her. She was hoping Rebecca would sit down and talk to her, maybe extract some information that could help this case or just have a conversation, whatever she was choosing to do with Rebecca. And believe it or not, and this is so unfortunate and so gruesome and so crazy, right? So ridiculous. There are people out there, weirdos, right? There are human beings out there slightly, I use that term loosely today, right? There are human beings out there that actually do believe Rebecca Haro feels sorry for her, believe Jakey the Snakey, even though he already has a conviction for beating the hell out of his daughter, right? 10-year-old baby promise. There's still people that believe that they're innocent. It's crazy, right? Look, I'm into giving everybody their due justice and their due process. I firmly believe that because there are a lot of people that are incarcerated that have never done anything but because they fit the description or they were black or brown or white. You know what I'm saying? I give everybody because there's people locked up from every different ethnicity that didn't do it, right? There's a lot of innocent people that are incarcerated that we know for sure. Will they ever get out? Some won't. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Snoop from Antioch, who I believe is someone that's unfairly, unjustly incarcerated, has done over 30 years and probably is not going to get no get backs at all. The secret died with the rapper, right, in his case. But there are people that believe she's innocent. So whether this woman was going to extract some type of answers, maybe just go to see her, get some content, or was really there to support her, she pulls up. So as this chick pulls up, she says she sat in that middle position because she could see the elevator open. She said when the elevator opened, Rebecca had her hair in a French braid. Okay. She had no more bruises. She had no more black eyes, no more scarring. She said she looked vibrant. She looked refreshed. She literally looked happy. She looked like she was back to the woman she probably was before Jake. Now, the key things I took out of the situation said, as this is Rebecca, stepped out of the elevator. Rebecca was surrounded by 3 guards. She was in shackles, which I don't understand why they do that. Maybe because she's in protective custody. I'm not sure. I'll get to the bottom of that eventually. But you got 3 officers to escort her, right? 1 on each side, 1 behind her. Now, either that's common practice there, proper protocol, or because she has been touched up and it's not alleged. In fact, she was touched up in the pill line, meaning someone assaulted her or someone ran up on her, right? Maybe they're doing this for increased security purposes. Maybe she is coming from administrative segregation or protective custody. So when it comes to those type of inmates, they're usually a lot more security, because when you're walking through the hallways of the county jail, there are porters, there are workers, there's kitchen workers usually walking through the facility, people that walk more freely than others. You know, people that are at minimums are doing less time than others. They're able to walk around. So because it's such a high profile case, it could be a point where she's on site. People want to get at her, so they know higher measure of security. Whatever, she comes out with these 3 cops and the chick says she looked vibrant, she looked fresh, she looked good. Now, any woman who's locked up for a case for killing their own child and they're incarcerated, they should look disheveled. They should be losing weight rapidly. They should, and everyone's different. You know, you can't pinpoint or say for sure, but you would think that face would be puffy from crying constantly. You know, not only are you incarcerated for the murder of your child, but your child is still missing, according to you. See, ACCOR. Ding to Rebecca, she's never changed her story yet. She's sticking with Ola. It's Sola, right? She's sticking with Ola. She's sticking with she got knocked the peed out. Thank God, right? And that hurt. And I don't never condone abusing women, but at this point she's not a woman. She's a monster. So monsters can get it. But you would think her child's missing. She's sticking to the story. Wouldn't she be crying every day for her baby? Wouldn't you be scared to death if your child was missing? Wouldn't you be distraught, going crazy in that cell? I'm going crazy in my jail cell. Right. All from the eye. Wouldn't you be doing all from the eye, going crazy in your jail cell? Wouldn't you be reliving every moment with your child, reliving, trying to gather more information in your mind about what happened in the meantime and between? Time be when Mr. Ola allegedly sucked you out of thin air, right? Imaginary. And you came back. Wouldn't you be trying to remember that, like picking your brain, your mind? I mean, you are going to go to trial for murder. You know, they are saying you did this. If you didn't do this and Jake did, and you have knowledge of it, man, you better get where the getting's good or get you a deal or whatever, right? I'm not saying tell, but you're doing the Philly shell right now, man. You need to punch back, throw a jab at least. Anyways, she didn't look that way. According to this chick, when she came out of that elevator, surrounded by 3 cops, 1 holding each arm and the 1 behind her hair was in a French braid. Now, I know women are good at doing their own hair. I used to have a neck she could whip her up, braid her, all kinds of stuff, right? But a French braid usually is a part in the middle with their hair dropped straight back. A French braid is one of the hardest braids to do in a female his hair. I know, I tried to French braid my daughter's hair one time for school. That one up. Even her teacher called me like, what are you doing to this child's hair? I said, trying. She said, I can't knock you for that, Dad. I said, well, thank you. How do you look? Because you just called me Dad, and I don't appreciate if you could throw another D and a Y on the end of it, and you look good. We might have something here, right? Anyways, regardless of that, don't worry about my macking ways. It just be like that sometimes. The braiding in the back, the French braid, means that she is either seldom up with someone or does have a common area she goes to, like a day room. And these women will help each other braid their hair, get it out of their face, whatever. You notice a lot of females that go get incarcerated always get braids in their hair. Even those that are not used to it on the streets, they do. You never know, man. You might have to throw some blows, or you want your hair out your face, or you know that you don't want your hair to get lice. There's a lot of different things going on in county jail, so you want to keep your tacite clean. I get it. But her hair was in a French braid. So what I got out of that was either she's got to say that's good at French braiding, or she's going out to a common area with other women. If they do have her in protected custody, she's going to be around women that are typically in for cases that are similar to hers. Child abusers, child killers, scared women that are intimidated or were beat up and removed for whatever reason, right? These are the type of women that even though she has this case, they're going to go with the flow because they're in a bad position too. I've seen a lot of people like that. Hardcore gangsters, man, just with the business. I hate PCs. I hate this. I hate dropouts. I hate that. I hate this. They get whacked on the yard. Next thing you know, their chef is like the most notorious droves. Pout ever of all time. And they're hella cool with it, right? The stance switches up hella fast. Look, that's the morals. The morals are not there. I'll say this. She comes out of the cell according to the chick. Now, she does not know this woman that's visiting her whatsoever. And Rebecca looks around. She said, this is what it looked like. I'm setting the scene, right? Rebecca looks around, doesn't recognize any of her family members, doesn't recognize anyone in the press, doesn't recognize anyone, and looks kind of shocked, like, what's going on here? And the chick says, the cops ask her, are you here to see Rebecca? She goes, yes, I'm here to see Rebecca. And Rebecca looks at her and says, I don't know this woman. Okay. To which the cops are kind of bewildered. They're confused, because usually when people come to visit you, they visit you because they know you. And they ask the woman again, who are you here to see? I'm here to see her, Rebecca Haro. Rebecca takes a closer look at her and says, I don't know this woman. I don't want to talk to her. Now, two things I take out of that. One, Rebecca knows enough. She's streetwise. She's been laced up. She's lived that criminal lifestyle just a little bit, or she's watched a lot of Perry Mason. Either way, Murder, She Wrote. This body knows, and I use the word who loosely today, right? Especially when we're talking about Rebecca. She knows that anything she says can and will be held against her. She knows that this female either wants to do her damage and harm by exposing her story, or, Rebecca, she might try to utilize Rebecca to say too much. She doesn't know if they're going to get her the same way they allegedly got her husband, Jake, you know what I'm saying, with the, the move that they used, putting an undercover cop to extract information from him. So Rebecca did the gangster thing, what they consider gangster, right? She kept her mud. She held her mud. She kept her mouth shut, right? She didn't say nothing. She says, I don't know this woman. I don't want to talk to her. The cops then again asked this woman, are you sure you're here? She said, yes, I'm here to see Rebecca. Rebecca says, no, take me back. I don't want to see this woman. She refused to visit and walked up out of there. The cops told her, sorry, ma'am, you're going to have to go. She doesn't want to see you. That's her right. She says Rebecca did not look like she looked more cautious and more upset with the fact that this woman they're trying to visit her, that she did not know, but she didn't look upset. Her body language, she was not in anguish. She didn't look puffy from crying. She didn't look like she gave a panty. She looked like she gave a more about protecting the integrity of the investigation on her side rather than helping find her son. Do you think, and this is just my observation, and it's a question I'm asking all of you, I would appreciate if everybody answers this right for the interaction. And plus, it's a question I really want to know what you think. If you're in on a case and someone comes to visit you that you don't know, why don't you be just a little bit interested or curious into what they're there for. Maybe they are there to help you. Maybe they have discovered something that could help you once you want to sit down just for a second or two and figure it out. You don't have to answer any questions. If you feel it's starting to go left, you can get up at any point in time and refuse the visit. Once you be just a little bit curious, you're fighting for your life. We're talking about a murder investigation. And even more so than that, the murder investigation. We're talking about your son, according to you, is missing and still alive out there, hopefully somewhere, right? That's your story. Wobblies. He'll let you tell it, Mrs. Ola. Mrs., right? Wouldn't you be interested? Maybe this woman knows where your son's at. Maybe this woman is here to tell you, hey, your son was kidnapped by Mr. Ola and he was brought to me. You never know if you're a grieving mother, not a father, We know Jake's a piece of shit, regardless if he's guilty of this case or not, which I truly believe he is, but we already know he's guilty for promise, right? So he's a piece of funk right off the tee, right? But if you got someone coming to visit, you and your son is missing any avenue of any type of evidence or any type of anything you can get, you would want, right? Even sitting there in that cell, someone who's not used to being incarcerated, someone who's probably scared to death, they're facing murder charges. I don't know about you, man, but murder charges change the whole game, right? No matter how much of a criminal you are, that kind of gets you in the boo-boo. She's sitting there all day long. Obviously, she's not in single cell because someone had to braid her hair. So she's around people. So the talking is happening. Wouldn't you want to just sit down and be like, hey, what are you here for? Well, I'm just here to visit you and say hi. Okay, well, what's up? You know what I mean? And have a conversation to me. Hardened criminal her. That's a hardened person. A person with no emotion. A person that does not care about their child. A person that knows exactly what they did. That's the telltale signs to me. Nah, I ain't talking to her. You automatically assume this person is bringing you bad news or that this person is trying to extract some type of information out of you. Shouldn't you be the one you say, I shouldn't be in here. I should be out there looking for my son. Well, that was a way to ask your questions. What's going on with my son? I don't got YouTube anymore. I don't got social media. Are they still looking for my son? Is there any updates? Is there this? Is that instead? No, I don't want to talk to her. I don't know. I refuse. The woman said, like I said, Rebecca looked vibrant. She looked better with no bruises. That means to me, Rebecca's not stressing like a Smith & Wesson. She's in there like a G. They're trying to get me for murder. I'm gonna fight my case. Wow, that sure doesn't seem like a grieving mother to me. A grieving mother to me, right? Maybe I could be wrong. I want you guys to let me know. Anyways, I thought that was interesting that someone actually went to go visit Rebecca and put out there how she was looking. The woman also said it was weird to be right there 3 feet away from her in between the plexiglass, right? But still, and to see how she looked. She said she was dressed in a blue uniform, pinkish shirt or reddish shirt, and that Rebecca did not look anguished whatsoever. In fact, she looked cautious, not cautious in the way of maybe being utilized for some content, but cautious of what was the whole reason for this visit. I don't know about you, my kid's missing. Maybe a spouse did something to my son or my daughter, my baby, especially a baby that came out of you. Mothers are closer. They got the baby. They held that baby. They bonded for 9 months inside the womb, right? And you don't have a question to ask. You just don't want to answer questions. Seems weird to me. Let me know what you guys think, man. Just another piece of content to keep Baby Emmanuel's name alive. I'm going to keep doing it. I don't know about you, man. I don't know what you heard about me, but he can't get $1 out of me. Literally. All right. I'm just different. And when I'm passionate about something, I go hard. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy is going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strike, struggle, strike for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people, justice for promise. And Baby Emmanuel till the kind of wheels come off. Thanks for watching my video. Please like and subscribe my channel. Hit the bell icon.